Red dust on my sandals, still I walk in grace. Face to the sunrise, tears drying on my face. Beautiful ashes, I'm rising from the ground again. Dancing through damage.
Welcome, viewers, once again to another episode of Beautiful Ashes with Auntie Mercy. The last few episodes, we've had someone that was talking about his 14 years of drug and addiction and alcohol abuse and how he came out of it and is now a mental health clinician and psychiatrist. He has overcome that vice. And after that, we had another guest from the Home of Happiness for Disabled Children, a woman that herself has a disability, but she's working and taking in children with mental health issues and disabilities. Last week, we had another young lady who was a widow, uneducated with only grade 9 level of education, and who rose from a family where there was alcohol abuse. There was stigmatization of all kinds because she had an early pregnancy. And now she rose from being a janitor and she's a receptionist in a bank. So welcome once again. Today I have a special guest for you. And before I introduce her, we're going on a short break. See you when we come back with our special guest.
They said I'm finished, point at my scars. They said I'm finished, point at my scars.
Welcome back. I have my guest, my special guest today, who is Luimba Kasongo, a lady who is a global patient advocate and consultant. She is a sickle cell disease patient. She's also a visual artist and a public speaker. She's the founder and executive director of For Luimba Initiative Zambia, a sickle cell NGO that she is running here in Lusaka, Zambia. Welcome, Luimba. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so glad to have you on this program. I've been looking forward to.
Thank you. It's an honor to have me. I'm so
you.
privileged and honored to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as we start, there's so much that I would like to find out, and I believe even the viewers out there, they're itching and just waiting to hear, because from my maybe minimum knowledge, I have a lot of questions, and when I look at people, sometimes I don't understand. So I was really looking forward to having you so that you could clarify, because you're a person who's been living with sickle cell disease for some time. So I would just like you to introduce yourself and tell us your marital status, if you don't mind.
Not at all, not at all. Okay, so I'm Luimba Kasongo, as you rightly put it. I come from a family member of 5, with my parents, with my lovely parents, who are still alive. So I'm a visual artist. I paint and I draw. So art for me is very therapeutic. It's what I found passionate about before I even started sickle cell, because every time I would have pain or I would be in the hospital, I would be like sketching with my drawing pad, and it would just get me out of that pain. When I get home and I'm on the recovery bed, they would buy me paintings and I would be painting just to take my mind off the pain and the situation that I was going through with sickle cell disease. So it became very therapeutic for me, but I decided to take it professionally about 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so I've done works with the National Arts Council. I've exhibited with them. I've performed live with them. So it's been a privilege and honor to have that art perspective. Then professionally, I am a public health specialist. So my role is really community education and health promotion. It's something that I did because I wanted to educate the community about my condition, sickle cell disease. So I'm also an advocate. I've been advocating for sickle cell disease for 7 years. And as you rightly put it, I opened up my NGO for sickle cell disease a year ago. So we clocked 1 year in February. So that's pretty much about me. I'm 44 years old. I personally, yes.
Wow.
I know I get a lot of that, like,
oh
my
goodness,
you look 38. Put me in a school uniform and I'll look like a grade 12, right?
Sure.
Yeah, but that's just grace, to be honest. If you saw me 10, 15 years ago, I was not what I'm looking like. What you're seeing is the glory of God. I was in a bad space. I was in a dark place. Yeah, but I never even want to say my age then. Now I proudly say I am 44 because it brings hope and encouragement, because there's a lot of sayings out there that people with sickle cell don't live long. Yeah. I'm not married. I don't have children. I still stay with my parents, but I do desire to have my own family. I really do believe that God answers our prayers.
He does.
So it's a prayer request that I'm really looking forward to see it manifest. Yeah.
And with God, there is nothing impossible.
Absolutely.
Nothing that He can fail.
Yeah.
What is sickle cell disease?
Okay, great. So sickle cell disease is an inherited blood disorder. So inherited, it passes through the family generation. So you find that maybe your grandparents had it, then it passes to your family, then it passes to your children. So it's not everybody who have the full sickle cell. So some can come out carriers. Like, for example, as I said, we are 5, and I'm the only one who came out with the full-blown sickle cell. So others are carriers, others are okay. But my parents carry the gene. When they came together, they produced the full-blown sickle cell. But my other siblings are just okay. So it's inherited. It really just runs genetically in families, yes. And so blood disorder, our blood cells are not shaped like those that don't have sickle cell. So ours are abnormal red blood cells. So to those who don't have sickle cell, your red blood cells are round like a donut. So it's like a wheel. When you throw a wheel, it runs smoothly, wonderfully, like a bicycle or a car. But for us who have sickle cell, they're half shaped, they're like a banana. So when, just imagine a car with half-shaped tires, or it doesn't move well. Even if you throw a half wheel, it doesn't move well. That's exactly what happens in our body. So you find that those banana-shaped cells do not move as effectively as those that don't have sickle cell, because ours are not round. So that causes blockage in the joints, and that's what doctors call she's gone into a crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there different types of sickle cell disease?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So the one that is common in Africa, that's the most severe. Yes, so there are those in India, the thalassemia. Then there are those in the Arabic section, like Lebanon, Arabia. That's also another type of sickle cell. So the most severe one is the one that is found in Africa, and it's called sickle cell disease and anemia, and sickle cell anemia. Yeah.
What are the symptoms?
Okay, so the first symptoms you see as early as 6 months in a baby, yes. So you see yellow eyes. You see, we usually have very distinct yellow eyes because our liver doesn't function too well. But I would leave that for the medical personnel. But otherwise, we have these yellow eyes, and then we have pains in our joints, so they cause swelling. So you find that the baby is crying 3 days nonstop throughout, and then other symptoms also is bloated tummy. You find that your stomach is much bigger than the others because our organs are not as I wouldn't want to say healthy, but they are weak in that the blood cells are abnormal. So naturally they do not function, and they do not send out healthy red blood cells to other parts of the body. So most of the organs are weak. Yeah.
How did your parents discover that you had sickle cell disease?
Okay, so I had yellow eyes. I was jaundice. My eyes were very yellow, and also I had swelling in my joints. Yeah. So they went to the hospital. That was 44 years ago. Like, yeah, because I'm 44. At 6 months, that's when I was diagnosed. Yeah, so the symptoms were yellow eyes and swollen joints. So they did a sickling test. The doctors there did a sickling test, and they discovered that I had sickle cell, and it came out positive. That's how they found out. Yeah.
At what age did they communicate to you for you to understand your condition?
That's true. Okay. So they communicated to me when I started asking a lot of questions. Because like I said, we were 5. I couldn't understand why I was the only one who was meant to wear jerseys. My siblings would play in the rain, and I was the one who was not. I was the one always going to the hospital, and I was the one who was always pricked. There was always medicine on my cabinet, and I didn't see these things with my siblings. So I would be curious. I'd be like, but why is it that my siblings are not? Yeah. So my parents slowly just started telling me gradually, you are special. There's something different about you. Yours is a bit like this. So gradually I started to know. Now, I come from a very supportive family, like very, very supportive family. But my reality hit me when I went to primary school. That is when I felt the harsh reality of being different, because then there was laughter, there was stigma, there was mockery. You will not live long, you will die, you people don't even have normal lives. Yeah. So my parents taught me about it at home, but it's so different when they're teaching you about it with love, and when you learn about it from the reality point of view.
Yes.
Yes.
So it seems there was already an awareness in the school about your condition. Just by looking at you, they could tell that it was sickle cell disease, and therefore they were stigmatizing you because of that. How did that feel, and how did you handle it at such a young age?
It was very, very difficult. So yes, I was born in an era where there was no internet, there was no social media, there were no hospitals for sickle cell, there were no doctors who were specialized in sickle cell, that there was no medicine. So it was those conditions where people knew just from looking at the eyes, the bloated tummy, that is sickle cell. So they would laugh at me, they would bully me, they would tell me, and sadly, I believed them. I believed them so much that by the time I would get home, I would be crying. I would be like, what's the point of living? They're laughing at me. They're telling me I'm not going to grow. So they knew about it, but they knew about it from a fearful point of view, from a, oh my word, this person is not going to live long. This person is sickly. There's nothing good is going to come out. But when I would get home, my parents would change the narrative for me. And they would tell me otherwise. But it wasn't easy. I had a lot of nights of crying. I had a lot of why me moments. I would literally ask God, like, why? Why would you create somebody who's coming to earth to just be on drugs every day, to be pricked in needles every day, to be in and out of hospital every day, and the stigma and the mockery of being laughed at? What would be the point of creating somebody like that and bringing me here to suffer? So for me, it was like, I came here to suffer. I just came here to be in pain. I just came here, so it was not easy. I really had many, many moments of, I don't want to live alone anymore. So when I would be in hospital, I would literally cry to God to say, take my life. I'm done with this. I can't deal with this anymore. But you know how God is. He has his own plans. In the same struggle, you just get to a place whereby there's no other option but to be strong. You know what I mean? And of course, my family system really helped me, just strengthen me and go on. Yeah. But it was not easy.
Apart from your immediate family, what about the extended, the relatives? Were they looking at you differently? Did they ever make you feel like I'm not normal the way it was happening in school?
So there are some family members, because at the end of the day, it's about knowledge. If you don't know, if you are not informed about it, you don't know anything. So I think for me, when I look back, it was from a place of lack of knowledge. There would definitely be comments, but why are you even taking her to school? She's only sick. Why are you dealing with this? So there were some family members that understood and supported. There's some family members who will just be like, it's just a matter of time. These people don't live long. So it's really lack of knowledge, to be honest. Even today, when I look at it, I see that it's really lack of knowledge. It's not they're wanting to treat or speak about people like that, of our condition. It's simply because they are not aware.
As you said that the time that you had the disease diagnosed, and there were no special clinics even for sickle cell disease. So whenever you had a crisis, how was it handled? How did your parents handle it?
Okay, so whenever I had a crisis, I would go to the hospital, but these would be like the severe ones. So most of us, like my adult range, most of us grew up managing the pain at home, because there was no drugs anyway. It's only now when we have specific clinics. The only clinic that was there was in Lusaka, and it was, like I said, there were not doctors. The drugs we have now and were not there then. So but we'd go to the hospital, of course. They'll put you on the water, the medication, but most of the times you get to manage it from home. You get to just bear the pain. I grew up most of it at home, because you would go to the hospital and there's no medicine to really, it was just painkillers. That's it, and so severe cases, definitely at the hospital. Mild cases, would just manage them from home. And I myself never used to allow them to take me to the hospital. I would literally tell them, don't take me to it's the stigma, the mockery, the experience, the needles, the injections, seeing doctors tell you, you may not make it, so
they would tell you that.
Yes, because the doctors, it's science. They have to deliver the message. It's science. So if their papers are showing your HB is at 4.2, they'll tell you the truth to say this is not looking good.
And how did it affect your education? Because from your profile, I see you even hold a master's degree in public health. How did you go through the journey of primary school, getting into high school, and because university is very tasking, it's very involving. How did you manage with that condition?
So I told you, where I'm coming from, there were no drugs. At the time I was doing my master's, there were drugs. They are drugs, which I'm still on. So primary, secondary school, it was on and off. I would go a whole term without going to school because I would probably spend 3 months in the hospital. I'll probably spend another 3 months at home. Yeah, so primary, it was difficult. Secondary, it was so much that I even told my parents that when I'm done with my grade 12, please don't push me any further. After all, I'm dying. I think you can see the evidence of me dying. I don't want to go to school. Don't pay for my college. Don't pay for my university. I had given up. I had no hopes and dreams about my future. I had nothing, literally. I would just be like, I'm dying anyway, because that's what they used to say. They still say that, actually.
Yes.
But it was stronger then. You die at 16, you die at 21, you're gone. But for me, like, it's just family support that helped me, because they're the ones who would push me. So yeah, I completed grade 12, and I told them, I ain't going nowhere. I'm waiting for my death. So 20 turned into 21, 21 turned into 22. Where's my death certificate? Where are you?
And meanwhile, you had your grade 12 results.
Yes, I
and
did.
that
But
was good.
But
you sat at home with them waiting to die.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So the year started celebrating birthdays. I'm like, okay, this isn't happening. So eventually I decided to enroll. I actually went to university late because I was waiting for my death. Yeah. So I went to university quite late because now the reality hit me to say, wow, this death is not coming. Yeah. So then I went into university. It was challenging. I remember I did my degree at Copperbelt University, and I was sick most of it. Yeah, I was sick. I remember there was a time, actually, I was on a wheelchair while at Copperbelt University. I had this attack where I couldn't walk. All these things were not working. Yeah, but grace, favor, in our times, university, they would protest. And when they protest, they close the university.
Yes.
That worked out so well for me because I recovered. And by the time they were opening, I wasn't even sure that I would graduate because I thought school would open. But yeah, I managed, and it was challenging. I was sick, but I managed to get that degree. As you mentioned, I went now and pursued. At that time, I was like, okay, I'm done with school. It stressed me out. Yeah, but then it was in line with my purpose, because at that time I'd discovered my purpose, and that is to help patients with sickle cell who've gone through my journey. So I did my master's degree in public health. Yeah, it was also a challenge. 2 weeks before my exams, I was tubes everywhere, blood transfusion, oxygen, name it, a feeding tube. I was just in my worst. I had 8 blood transfusions. 8 for that period, because I was just my blood cells were just breaking down. Yeah. And this is a girl supposed to write her master's in 2 weeks. Because I was in the hospital for like almost a month. So 2 weeks before my master's exams, I was discharged, but I was still sick. The feeling of being sick, of being out of hospital, my body hadn't yet. But I dragged myself to that exam room. I would study with pain. But I wrote that paper and I got my master's in public health.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations are in order.
Thank you so much.
It's not been an
easy
journey for you, but you have scaled that mountain.
I really have.
You have.
I have, yeah.
There's the grace, and it's such an encouragement and a huge challenge to people that don't even have that, because some people are very lazy. You're encouraging me to get back to school.
That's true, yeah.
You talked about, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about sickle cell disease. Like you were saying, people just know that people with sickle cell die early. That's one of them.
Yeah.
I've heard of another one when I was researching and going through that. It's found in Black people, only in Africans and African Americans and things like that.
Yeah.
So can you say something about that?
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to start with the death. Well, here I am at 44.
Yes.
It is I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The reality is that sickle cell can be something. Yeah. And it can get to a point whereby you can have a stroke. You can, because the thing is what happens, like I said, our blood cells are quite abnormal. So the blood doesn't flow to our organs as effective as it should. So we tend to have these complications, so many complications. Your lungs, it can hit you in your brain, it can hit you. And that's why we are always sick, because of those complications. So the death rate then was high because, like I said, we didn't have information, we didn't have the drugs we have now, we didn't have specialist doctors, we didn't have clinics, so the death rate was definitely high. But not now. Now people, we have been exposed to drugs, we've been exposed to information, the doctors have been trained, we have hematologists specifically for sickle cell, we now have 7 clinics across the country. So now the death rate is not that bad. So I always discourage people from saying, do not say that they don't live long. They do, because we're in a better space than then. Yes, yeah. Coming to Black descendants, that's what a lot of people thought. I don't blame them, because that's what I also thought. Yeah, but no, it's in the line of the equator. So wherever there's equator around the world, that is where sickle cell is. So it's there in Australia, it's there in the Arab countries, it's there in India, it's there in Turkey, it's there in Lebanon. Yeah, so it's there. It's most prominent around the line of the equator. Yeah.
Have they been able to explain why it's just around the area of the
They
equator?
say malaria-dominated countries.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
they say because of the malaria-dominated countries.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But aren't there any cases like in the Americas, North America, in Europe, that are far off? Aren't there a few cases there as well? Are there some cases?
Not that I know of, but all I can say is that because of intermarrying, so somebody from Lebanon marries somebody from a Caucasian from United States, because of the interaction of the gene, that can happen. They can have a white child with sickle cell disease because the one from Lebanon has the full gene, and then it ends up being a carrier, and then so those possibilities are definitely there. Yeah, they're definitely there. I've seen some cases like on social media, blue eyes, white skin, and this person is saying they have sickle cell disease. Yeah, so they're there. Yeah, I think because of the intermarriages. Yeah, another myth, they say people with sickle cell do not get married and they do not have children. No, that's another lie. It's just that with sickle cell disease, it's high risk. Yeah, it's pregnancy is high risk. So doctors usually just advise us to just have one child. Yeah, and then of course parents around are so protective of their children. They wouldn't want their children to be married because of what the marriage, what it comes with. But otherwise, no, there's nothing in the Bible. It doesn't say thou shalt except sickle cell patients. No, it doesn't say that. I really do believe that it's for everybody. It's just that for sickle cell patients, you have to be careful when choosing your partner. He has to know you. He has to love you for who you are. And above all, you have to know his status.
Okay, because so you advise that people should not just go out there and say, hey, we're in love, let's get married. So people should just do it the way it is with HIV and AIDS.
Correct.
There's so much talk about status before you get married.
Yes.
So even you're saying with sickle cell, it must be the same thing. People should know they should find out.
Yeah.
Another thing I've heard is that they've said that it's mostly common with people in the blood type, blood group O.
That one is actually very true. Okay. Most of us are O+.
Okay.
Yeah, I made my own research because during my advocacy week, as you know, I do the public health on sickle cell disease at UTH and Machero. I did my own research. I started asking most of the sickle cell patients, "What's your blood group? What's your blood group? What's your blood group?" Most of us are O. Yeah, most of us are O. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, another thing also, check your blood group before you get married. There's a lot of pante. I mean, if I'm sorry for using local language.
Yes.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe
People
because
just-
it's never been like for me. I can't. There's absolutely no way I can just get married to anybody, and anybody have to check their blood group. I have to check the genotype. Yeah, so that even when we do decide that, I'll be doing it from an informed decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
And something else I've heard of is that sickle cell diseased people don't get malaria.
Okay, so that one is not true, but it's a very common myth. So I'm going to explain it. We do get malaria, but somebody like me can even go 20 years without getting it. Because what happens is the parasite of malaria, when it sits on the sickled cells, the banana shape because that cell is already deformed, because that's already an abnormal cell, the malaria parasite doesn't get to live long. It dies when it sits on that. But the danger comes when the malaria parasite sits on the round blood cells. Because as much as we may have the banana shaped, we still have a percentage of the round shaped. So we have maybe 20% of the round normal cells, then 80% are sickled ones. So if that malaria parasite sits on the round one, then you will get the malaria, and the malaria for you will actually be severe. It will be plus. But if that malaria parasite keeps sitting on the sickled cell, next year, the other year, you can even go 15 years without having malaria because it doesn't live on the sickled cell. Yeah.
Okay, so
we do get malaria.
Malaria.
Yeah.
And you talked about blood transfusions, and sometimes been to the hospital, people that I know, relatives, and you're told there's no blood. They need a transfusion.
Yeah.
And for you people that
need it
like all the time,
life dependent on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are the challenges have you ever found yourself in a place where you go to the hospital and you need a transfusion and you're told there's no blood?
Yes, I have. And what happens is my family members donate.
Oh, they have?
Yes. So blood is scarce in Zambia. Yeah. I think a lot has to do with our culture. Our culture is not open to donating blood. Where they're going to take my blood? It could be satanism.
Yes.
My blood should just be out there somewhere. But I wish they could look at it from a perspective, I'm saving a life. Somebody saved my life. I just told you when I was writing my mind, I had 8 pints
of blood.
They put in 1, it doesn't do anything. They put in another 3, it doesn't do anything. So people should need to look at it from a place like, I am saving a life. If that person did not donate blood for me, I wouldn't be here today. And that was not my first blood transfusion. I had my blood transfusion because like I said, we don't have blood. We were created without much blood. You know, our blood is very little. That's how we're created. So we are dependent on blood transfusions, and that's why they always tell us eat a lot of vegetables because we need blood. So because of the culture that people are very reluctant in donating blood, but really it saves a life. My life has been saved several times because of blood transfusion. So I'm a huge advocate for blood transfusion. Huge advocate because it has saved my life and many other lives. Yeah, but blood it's not as available. Yeah, most of the times it's there. You know, I really salute Zambia for the blood drives, and it's there, it's available. But for us, you know what I mean? For us who need it, yeah, it's you find that maybe you find yourself in a situation where you need 6, 7, and it's just not available. So you find that the family donates. Yeah.
So as you are talking about culture.
Mhm.
I'm now thinking about religion. I know that there's a certain religion that do not subscribe to blood transfusion.
Mm.
What can you say about that?
So religions are really about culture, like you said. If you've been raised in a home where they tell you this is not right, and you grew up with that, even when you grow up, you go out there, no matter how the education, the awareness, if from your background and your home you've been told do not this, it won't happen. So for me, I think that one just needs a Jesus intervention. Yeah, because I personally, like I said, I've benefited from blood transfusion. So I just don't see how somebody can allow their loved ones to pass on because of religion and culture. But we respect them. I mean, even the hospitals respect them. The doctors respect their decisions. But for somebody who has received blood and woken up from almost dying because of blood transfusion, I'm a pro for blood transfusion. Yeah.
What about people in the rural areas? Because you're saying there are clinics around now. You say there's 7 clinics. How is it in the rural areas for people? Is there an awareness? Are there people out there, or even organizations like the NGO that you've started, that are going out in these deep places where a person has no idea? Some of them have no education, and they think this child is just troublesome, this child is just lazy. How come this child? And they end up just most of the times going to witch doctors, because those are they've grown up with that culture, and they were receiving help that way, and that's the only solution they know. What happens to such people?
Yeah, you are very correct about that. I personally feel that the awareness and education, be it sickle cell disease, be it blood transfusion, is not sufficient. We really need, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We really need to go inside the villages to make people aware. Because like you're saying, they tend to witch doctors, they tend to witchcraft, and that's not healthy. So it's up to us to really raise awareness in these communities so that they can have the knowledge to say these things are not exactly what is best for your child. What is best for your child is the hospital. Yeah. So the usual disadvantages of being in a rural setup, there are no roads, there are no infrastructures, things are dilapidated. Modern equipment that we have in Lusaka is not there. So there's a lot of work that we need to do. But the Ministry of Health is trying. Like I said, we didn't have a clinic. Now we have clinics in Kasama, we have in Chinsali, yes, we have in Kitwe, Ndola, we have in Kabwe. So it's helping, because then now they can have these specialty services for them. Yeah.
With Luimba Initiative Zambia, do you have any organizations that are working with you, that are funding you? Looking at most of these NGOs, I know that America used to fund them, and when the governments changed, everything changed, and fundings were taken away. A lot of even drugs like antiretroviral drugs were under threat. People just don't know what's going to happen again. So are there any organizations that are partnering with you in this drive to bring out this awareness? And as an advocate, do you have some funding of some sort?
Okay. So yes, so we have about 6 organizations for sickle cell disease. We do work together on most of the projects. But like you said, we used to also get funding from projects like USAID and all those things. And since that shut down, we are sort of like left stranded as well. But however, the Ministry of Health is really helping. Like I said, they have opened up clinics, and that's where now we really just send people for support. Then also there's I don't wanna, I'm glad this is prelocated, but CDF, social cash transfer. Sickle cell patients are benefiting from that. Yes. Great. So yes, we have so many warriors that are on that. Yes. Then I know also CDF gives our warriors, the adult ones, they do these skills now under CDF. Yeah,
Wonderful.
amazing. Yeah. So now it's really helping.
Yes,
That's
it
what I'm trying to say. It's helping
Mhm.
in that we thought there's a certain mindset that we always have, like no funding from abroad.
Yes.
Yeah, but
locally.
actually it's been done locally through the ministry,
Praise the
through the
Lord.
Ministry of Health,
We thank
through
God
Ministry of
for that.
Education, through community development.
Mhm.
So many of our warriors are benefiting from these government programs. Yeah, I think what is really lacking is, like you said, going deep into
into
the
that.
rural areas.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
that
need
is where.
that.
Because even our drugs, the National Health Insurance, the government one, it's helping. We get our drugs from there now, because there's a drug now for us,
Okay.
which is on the same. I can compare it to the ARVs as well,
Uh-huh.
in that it works differently. But for sickle cell, it helps us look healthy, strong,
Yes.
sustain our lives, not fall sick,
Yeah.
avoid the hospitals. Yeah, so we get that for free on the public insurance. Yeah.
Looking at you, you look so healthy. One wouldn't even be able to tell. Can you give some advice on how you take care of yourself, maybe your diet and things like that? Because there are a lot of people that are watching out there who probably are still behind. They don't know that even the diet has to be a certain way. What do you do to look this healthy, to look this good?
Okay, so number one, acceptance is everything. Yeah. Like I said, I came from a place of why me, it's not fair, dark place. But my life changed when I accepted my condition. I stopped listening to what society said. I stopped paying attention to the stigma and everything they say about it. And I just accepted my condition. I said, you know what? It is what it is. I can't cry over spilled milk. Let's move on with this.
Yeah.
So I took in interest. I started now, how do I take care of myself? How do I? So like you're saying, there are definitely foods that we need to eat. There's no special diet, but because we lack blood, we need meats a lot, red meat, not every day, of course. We need green vegetables. We need healthy, balanced diet. We need things that just will help us with our blood.
With the blood.
Yes. Then mindset. You know, this thing, it has an aspect of depression.
Yeah.
And when I was on the wheelchair, I remember I explained, I was in depression. I would look at my heels and be like, Lord,
I can't
wear heels anymore. And I can't wear my shoes anymore. I was depressed, depression, you need people to support you.
Yes.
Yeah. So all those things, but if your mindset is healthy, if your mindset has the positive thinking, like I remember when I was stepping into my purpose, the mindset changed. I accepted, I started living life, I started taking my drugs. In the past, I would have that attitude of, I won't take my drugs because I want to die. Let me quicken the death process. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. Let's quicken this process. So I wasn't taking my drugs. I wasn't eating well. I was just. But then when I accepted, I started eating well. I started taking my drugs. I started doing my hospital reviews. I was consistent with managing myself. So now, because of that, even the appearance changes.
Okay.
So because even the mind now is it's accepted. It believes more. It believes in Jesus. It knows that God is with you. You're not a mistake. You were born for purpose. So those are the things I teach. Even like my fellow, I help them get out of that pit. Of that self-pity. It's over for me. It will never work out. I can never amount to anything, and bring them to this place.
Okay.
So I use my story. I mean, I never thought I would be a CEO.
Yes.
I became a CEO or something. I never even, because I had no dreams. I had hope. And I was a CEO for an international organization, a sickle cell disease organization. And they look at me and they're like, wow. So it's possible, it's doable. The parents of the children, they're like, oh, so you people live long.
They can live long.
You can live.
Yes.
My child is going to live.
They
My
live
child
long.
can go to school.
That's hope.
That's what helped me, really.
Thank you so much, Luimba, for sharing your story with us. And what are your final words to the viewers out there? What can you say to them? Looking at you, you've overcome the hurdles. You've got yourself a good education. You are running an NGO, and you are a visual artist.
Yes,
all your talents, are coming to fruition. Something that before was never there. What are your final words to them to encourage them?
Yeah. So thank you again for having me. So my final word is just, first of all, support. Okay. When you're different in society, what we need is support. The communities, the churches, the neighborhoods, the schools, the teachers, support people children with special needs, not just sickle cell, people who are different. Because as it is where we are, it's already hard enough. And then we go out there and we don't find support. So what we need is support from the communities. Then to the individual who's going through anything similar that I am, anyone who has a disease, a condition, it's not over. It's not over until God says it's over. You can live, you can dream, you can have hopes.
Yes.
God will take you.
You can get married.
And you can get married and have children.
Amen. You can have a normal life.
Absolutely. Yes, you can have a normal life.
Thank you so much, Lwimba.
You're welcome.
I look forward to hearing more success stories out of you viewers. You've heard for yourself the story of our beloved sister, Lwimba, and what she's doing, how the Lord has just seen her through, and how she has overcome so many challenges. So viewers, tune in again next week on Sunday at 4 o'clock on BMTV, channel 114 on Top Star, and on our Facebook page. Follow us, like the page, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Beauty for Ashes, every Sunday at 4 o'clock. See you next week. Bye.
Red dust on my sandals, still I walk in grace. Face to the sunrise, tears drying on my face. Beautiful ashes, I'm rising.